Hi everybody, we're just going to jump into Empyrion here and look at my capital vessel build. Right, so this is my minimal capital vessel. It's very basic, doesn't look that great, but it's the essentials, what you need. Right, so it's got a light, there's the generator, got a thruster, oxygen tank, put in flying space, got a detector to actually give it some use rather than just flying around. That's an RCS, which gives it like a fast, agile movement. So it's absolutely worth grabbing. Let's clear off this here. Fuel tank above me. There's the core. There's that RCS. Right. And in the front there, with the single block that's still there, that's the control. So that's where you sit there, you fly, and it had to be sealed, so I leave that top block there as well. Nice little top view. Leave that one. Right, so that's actually where the cockpit had to be a sealed unit for the air. Right, otherwise you get into space and which I've done before, and run out of oxygen real quick, and the screen goes red, and you're dead. Right, so basic CV, like left, right, up, down, forwards, backwards. So you've got 6 thrusters. Alright, so let me just clear this off, and I'm going to build now the small vessel equivalent. Alright, first off, with a base, just going to put a base down real quick. That's just a base block. Just got a nice flat area so we can build on. And this is my trick, or my tip, I guess. When building a vehicle, put down a vertical pylon, either 2 or 3 blocks wide, high, sorry. And the reason you want to do that is when you're building, if you go and put the core straight, like spawn the core directly, it'll fall to the ground flat, like the base one has, and then it makes it very hard to actually put the core anywhere from except the bottom. And the core tends to be the main target of the enemy AI when they're shooting at your vessel. So better to not actually have the core easily attackable. You want to protect that as much as possible. So that's why I tend to put this like a little pillar on the base. If I grab some stuff here, just real quick. So I'll set up for the small vessel, right? So small vessel blocks. There's the core. RCS. Fuel tanks. Oh, I actually don't need those ones. Those are the old originals. I'll go small ones. A small thruster. Just bare minimum. Pardon me. Right, so detector. Not very much all we need, so back over here. Grab a core. You can rotate it using, I found using the end key. Right, so end, page up, page down, home, and delete. And it'll allow you to rotate blocks. And what I found is actually you can rotate the core module before you place it. Or either north, south, east, west, basically. It doesn't quite line up with the base because the base I could drop anywhere, but this core rotation is just that. So now, because I put that up on a pillar, or basically above a pillar, when that drops down, and it will drop down after a couple of seconds. Right, that'll fall flat. There it is, onto the pillar. So at least I'm not having to work from the floor. I can work in 3D now. Right, so that blue arrow block is always important. That is the direction of the vessel. If you forget that and go and clear them off, which I have done before, then you'll find that when you're going forwards, your vehicle goes sideways or backwards, and that's because the actual direction stays with the core. Alright, so I put a fuel tank down there, but I think I'll probably change this. On the capital vessel, I put the fuel tank there because I didn't want the player controls to be too close to the components that cause radiation, because there is that in there. This is the cockpits. You've got hit points, energy in, mass, pretty much, and then you've got size and shape, so width, height, depth. But basically making sure that it's airtight, otherwise you have to build a box around it like the CV. Alright, so benefit of having a small vessel is it's already going to be an airtight vessel, we don't need to build a box. Right, I'm going to get rid of this fuel tank this time. I actually don't need a fuel tank, I can put the core right up against the against the cockpit. No one on top. I should make this as slimline or streamlined as possible and small, with minimal blocks. So I put it there. That's probably going to make it a bit long, I think. So that's 3 blocks out the back there. I should be able to reduce that down. Yeah, stick to that and try again. This time I'm going to put the turret on the core itself. Right, position, there we go. Alright, so it looks like it's too wide, too high as far as the actual width and height of the cockpit goes. And it's a long one, so so fighter jet style. So, alright, I've got my core, I've got my cockpit to control it. I'm going to put the RCS here, which gives me that, like a wiggle movement, which is important. There's Jenny, generator, and a small fuel tank. Alright, so essentially, yep, now that'll fire up. If I actually want to put fuel in that fuel tank, Jenny, and actually would be able to flop that around on the ground. Alright, if there's any more, that all sorted. The armoured cockpit, they're pretty much the same shapes, or similar shapes to the unarmoured cockpit. And you notice the hit points is a difference, and the weight is different, so mass. So various sizes and shapes, depending what you want to do. Like that last one there is good for mining. They use that a lot for mining. You're amongst falling rocks, so you need a bit of protection. This one shows you the thrust direction. Right, so when I can, I like to put the thrust direction on the outside so it's visible, so you can sort of see which direction your thrust is going. We just toggle this around. There we go, so that one's facing down right now. Right, thrust down. This one will be thrust up. Right, it's a bit down and up movement. Over here. Which is not really correct, but anyway, we're going to do this. If I rotate that, at the moment it's on the red rotate, so I put the thrust through there, and it's facing forwards, which means that's my reverse thrust. Alright, now I've got my left thrust. Yeah, so change that because I want to put exhaust, so you can actually see the little exhaust sticker, so it's on the one side. There we go. Right, so now you know which way it's facing. So that's thrusting out towards the front, so that means it's going to slow me down. That's left, that's up, down, so we need right and forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right side thrust. Flip that around. There we go. Yeah, that's right side thrust. And we need forward thrust. So change this around here. Yep, go around and rotate. Let's rotate a second. forward thrust. So forwards, backwards, left, right, up, down. Thrust is sorted. I've got the RCS in there. I'll chuck a detector there. That'll actually give me some use because that'll be able to detect points of interest, such as resources, buildings, enemy. Yeah, useful. Right, so as it is, that'll be perfectly good to fly around within the atmosphere because we haven't got an oxygen tank at this point. Right, we've got fuel, we've got power. So check it out. I could put proper wheels underneath or proper landing strip, but that's just extra. Just, yeah, can't put oxygen because I've got no oxygen tank. I've got a fuel tank, so I can add some fuel. Right. Oh. Here's my drone. That's F5. Here's the drone. Use that control. It was a while before I actually knew that it was F5. So getting around and actually climbing up like ramps and trying to get to points in space, so I can actually apply blocks to CV, or actually, my first big vessel was interesting. That looked sort of like a bit of a bird of prey. I might remake it actually in the future. Right, so oxygen tank, there you are. Chuck one of those because we've got a sealed capsule. I can just put the oxygen tank anywhere. Yeah, let's put it next to that thruster because it's fine. There we go. So now I can take that into space. And it'd be nice to be able to see where I'm going. So I chuck a light somewhere. Yeah, looks a bit blocky. There is an angle light, sort of, there we go. So pushes the light out directly front, but it gives you an angle, so it's a little more sleek. Just gonna rotate it right, there we go. Chuck it there. Doesn't matter which side. It's gonna look out anyway, because I haven't got it behind. And this has got a nose cone, so I can't really put it in front. If I had a different cockpit, I could probably, chuck it on the front of the vessel, and it would look appropriate. But there we go. So now we have a spacefaring vessel. Right. So if we come in here, back to manage. Now I can chuck in O2. There we go. Get that air. So we won't die of suffocation when we get to space. So power up. Ready to go. Okay, up we go. Right. The reason we have that fast turning movement is from the RCS. So if you can imagine, you've got thrusters. You got forwards, backwards, left, right, up, down, but nothing to do with turning the vessel. So the RCS is required for that turning and rotation. Right, so I take care of both of that. So this is why I can spin it. Looks pretty cool. Take for a wash. You know, it's a real space vessel when you can go submarining. Now this is pretty close to maximum speed, even though I've got one little thruster on that. It's actually, it's not perfectly the fastest speed, but it's pretty close to it. Like maximum of 70. The only way you can get faster is if you put a thruster on that has afterburner. There is one of those that does that. One particular type that does that as well. Just park it here. Minimal vessel, so I've got no armour around the outside, which I had with the CV when I first took this video on. Started it, so there it is. Pretty basic, but that's all you need to get into space and get around and survive. Let's just say that's the minimal CV for space. Oh, SV, sorry, small vessel for today, not CV. Oh, it was Alt O to get into the blueprint mode, and you want to do that because at the moment I'm in creative mode. I can just grab the the components I need and build something nice. Spend my time do that, and then when I'm in the actual like survival mode, I'm able to find the ingredients like the components. So to get enough iron, titanium, etc. and so forth, neodymium, whatever is required to make up the different components that make up the vessel that you've built in the creative mode. And you can bring up the blueprint, plonk it down, and then okay, add the components to build it. Once you've got all the ingredients required that's part of your build blueprint, then you can spawn it into the world in survival mode. So it's handy to sort of like, okay, there's my base ship. So if I want to build a small vessel or a capital ship back down there on the planet, I can do so quite easily. Just spawn this, change it around what I don't need. It gives me a good starting point. So that's what you need to get around. It's a bit minimal. That looks nice. I mean, it's not perfect, of course. Add some armor, add some wings, make it a bit more realistic looking. But the space has a different speed to planet speed. So with the thrusters, we've got the single small thruster at the back there. Right, just the minimal one. We can add a couple other thrusters. Just grab those. So we've got a minimal thruster. So if I add a couple more of those. Alright, so we've got 3 thrusters facing at the back. That's going to increase the acceleration of the vessel, but it's not going to increase the overall speed. So my max speed is 130, or actually in the case I've got 129. And it takes a bit to slow down because I only got 1 thruster slowing me down, the little one. So that has an effect. More thrusters facing forwards, the faster I'm going to slow down as well. Alright, so let's get rid of those. 130 is our max speed. Now if I go to here, I'm going to look at thrusters. There are different types with this one here. See, it has a boost, thruster boost factor 1.5. That's what it mentions. This one has a thruster boost factor 1.5, and that one doesn't mention a thruster boost factor. So let's just get rid of that. And so 3 types of boosters there. 3 types of thrusters, I should say. Alright, so this is your standard thruster, but the bigger version of what we've already got. This is the ridiculously big one. It's huge. Look, I'll just rotate this around, put it on the back. I mean, this is bigger than the rest of the ship, which is saying something. Like 1 whole ship versus 1 thruster. That is massive. Look at that. And this is the other thruster, right? So a bit more realistic in size for what we're building. Let's rotate that around, make it look good, and chuck it there. Alright, so now I've got small thruster, biggest thruster, physical size, the big version of that one, big version of that one. So I've got the big version of all 3 thrusters of the 3 different types of thrusters for the small vessel. But it looks like rubbish. Oh, ammo. I forgot to add more ammo for this multi-tool. Multi-tool uses the green one. There we go. Multi-charge. A few of those. Reload. Just get rid of that. I don't like the look of it. Okay. I reckon we can probably put that on the back. A bit more. Correct if I chuck it there. Oh, okay. of the thruster is it actually looks like it's hovering. Oh well, that'll do. Yeah, whatever. Drag it there. Thruster won't mind. Okay, so 3 thrusters. Or 4 thrusters. Small thruster, the largest version of the standard thruster, and then 2 extras. So yeah, getting to the speed of 129 is ridiculously quick. Like, boom, there we're there. Like, so acceleration ridiculous, but speed still the same. Yeah, come in the atmosphere, and now we're down at atmospheric speed, so we're down at 70 meters per second. Doesn't matter that we've got the huge, ridiculous thrusters on the back. It's the same speed, same max speed, and it's the same for the CV. So capital vessel, small vessel. There's your max speeds, right? So how we only get faster. Apart from the fact that both this large thruster and the other cool-looking, I would say cool-looking thruster, both have that 1.5 booster, right? So that's hitting the shift key, very much like, you know, the nitrous on a car game. You hit the old nitrous and away you go when you pick up that extra speed. So we're at 100%, but you see on the bar, there's that little bit extra. Alright, that little bit extra is what's going to be taken up by the boosting. So let's check this out. Prometheum asteroid, dead ahead. The only reason I can see that is I'm in a detector. So that's why minimal build, I know you don't really need a detector, but you do need a detector so you know where you're going. So yeah, a detector and a light, I'm going to say that's part of the minimal build, because essentially, yeah, they're required. Oh look, what is that? Asteroid? I don't see any asteroid. Oh. Oh, I didn't break apart. So, she survived. Cockpit intact. These little asteroids are hard too. Anyway, let's get out here. Instead of going in like, because I'm in creative mode, I can hit the G on the keyboard, go into glide mode, and that just allows me to get out and around. Alright, so I got rid of that big thruster, and you see I've got the yellow there, so now I'm at 159 speed. That's that extra. So, and now the juice has run out. Now back to normal speed, 129. Right, so is it worth it? Yeah, 139, 120, yeah. So 159, 129, so extra 30 meters per second in space if you have this extra thruster. So it's not, it's that one, that's the extra, that has the 1.5, that one's not, that's the standard thruster. It doesn't have the boost. Okay, check it out here. So the boost factor, that's the big one, the ridiculously big one that's bigger than the ship. That is the smaller one that looks cool. Alright, it's a 1x3x1, and that's your standard. You see it has no boost factor, so we don't need that one. Get rid of that. So that's basically the only one that gives us the extra boost, if we could be bothered having the extra boost for an extra 30 meters per second. But it would look cooler if it wasn't sitting on top of the thruster. So I'll chuck it there. So now she looks a bit better, like, you know, a bit more streamlined. Alright, take it for a spin. There you go, the extra boost. Charges up. It's kind of like a nitro, and it runs out. There we go, runs out. And the asteroid. All these little asteroids here. You can run into them. But you see how agile this vessel is. It's a minimal vessel. Okay. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm low enough. Like lower. thrust. She gets around pretty nicely. And yeah, minimal build. So minimal build means minimal resources. Minimal resources means when you're playing survival mode, you create this vessel and put it in your game, then yeah, or something equivalent based off the same sort of thing. Alright, I guess I'm going to put planet here. I'm just going to compare my capital vessel to my small vessel. Extra thruster. Alright, so that was what I had there. Capital vessel, very blocky. And it's very blocky for a reason, because it's big blocks. And then your small vessel is smaller blocks. Right, and I'm thinking it's 1 and 3, but let's measure it up just in case. Because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 1 and 4. Yeah. So let's do this. What I'm going to do is see how this compares in size. Because essentially, this is, does the same job. It's a small vessel. It's lined up. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. So it looks like it's 4 to 1 size, right? So 1 block on the capital vessel is equivalent of 4 blocks on the small vessel. Use the painter here. That one. Alright, so that's going to show us. So now you can see that it's about 1/4 the size. So the block for a small vessel is 1/4 the size of a capital vessel. A capital vessel doesn't have a nice enclosed cockpit, so you always have to build a minimal enclosed area. So it's always going to look something like that, or if you want to keep it on the as flat as possible. Whereas a small vessel looks like that. I'm going to do a comparison of guns, because essentially, if I can build a small vessel that is, let's say, the equivalent of 100 meters long, or a capital vessel that's 100 meters long, then which is better? It gets down to, I guess, speed and its ability to warp, get around, and take on any enemies. I'm going to do a comparison of how fast they can go. There's also a warp drive, which I haven't included here. I'll do a build with a warp drive, which speeds up your space faring quite a bit. But because it's 1 and 4, if I've got a 100 meter small vessel versus a 100 meter equivalent capital vessel, which is going to look nicer, which is going to be better? I think instead of building a capital vessel, I'm going to build a small vessel, build it to the size that I would normally build a capital vessel, and just see how it looks and feels and what we can do with it. Alright, so please check that out on my next video. If you like this video and you found it informative and useful for playing the game, which is free at the moment on the Epic Store, please grab it if you haven't got it already. Alright, so like the video if you like the video. Subscribe and hit the bell so you can get my next video as soon as it comes out. I'll try and do that in the next, or maybe today or tomorrow at the latest, and see if we can get into adding a warp drive, see how that's going to look for us, and building that small vessel at a capital vessel size, and seeing how that looks, and if that looks cool. Thanks for watching. Check out the next video, and bye for now.